Fairchild Republic A-10 Thunderbolt II, otherwise known as the Warthog, is a renowned and feared close air support and anti-tank aircraft currently serving in the US Air Force. Designed exclusively for close air support, its official name is derived from the Republic P-47 Thunderbolt, a World War II era fighter bomber that served with distinction and was especially effective against ground targets. Entering service in 1976, the A-10 is the only production-built aircraft serving in the US Air Force to be designed solely for close air support. With that said, it can also operate in a secondary role as a forward air controller, directing other air assets towards their targets. In the wake of World War II, much of the design work in the United States focused on high-speed tactical aircraft that could deliver nuclear weapons, such as the F-101 Voodoo and F-5 Thunderchief. Aircraft armed with conventional weapons had been somewhat neglected, meaning that the US entered the Vietnam War with the Korean War era Douglas A-1 Skyraider. Despite being a very effective and capable aircraft with a decent payload and long loiter time, it was nonetheless propeller powered and vulnerable to small arms fire and had limited firepower. On the 8th of September 1966, General John P. McConnell, Chief of Staff of the US Air Force, issued a call for a specialized close air support craft and formed the Attack Experimental AX program. This call required designs for a low-cost attack aircraft with specifications tailored towards the Skyraider's weaknesses. That is, the new aircraft should ideally have long loiter time, excellent maneuverability at low speed, devastating firepower, and good survivability. Allied to this, the prevailing doctrine of addressing a potential Warsaw Pact armour invasion from Eastern Europe with tactical nuclear weapons had shifted since the 1950s to one of using specialised anti-tank helicopters or jet-powered aircraft. From the beginning, the A-10 was conceived around its fearsome and devastating 30mm cannon, a weapon that has become a distinguishing feature of the aircraft. The GAU-8A Avenger is a hydraulically driven Gatling-style cannon that was designed by General Electric with the anti-tank role in mind. It fires extremely powerful rounds at a high rate of fire. It is also huge, constituting 16% of the A-10's unladen weight. The cannon on its own weighs 280 kilograms, but with a full drum and feed system, it weighs 1,828 kilograms, measuring nearly 6 meters in length from muzzle to the rear of the assembly. The standard magazine loadout is 1,150 rounds, each with a muzzle velocity of around 1,000 meters per second, and containing a 5-to-1 mixture of armour-piercing depleted uranium and high-explosive incendiary ammunition. When tested on M47 Patton tanks in 1979, it shredded them to pieces. In addition to its power, the Avenger is also highly accurate, but the major drawback is its recoil, approximately 10,000 pound-feet, which is more than the output of the A-10's TF-34 turbofans, which is 9,065 pound-feet. Although this isn't enough to appreciably slow the aircraft in flight, it does nevertheless demonstrate the insane destructive power of the Avenger system. The A-10 has excellent control and manoeuvrability at low speed and altitude because of its large wing area, high wing aspect ratio and large ailerons. This wing configuration also facilitates short takeoff and landing, such as from forward operating bases close to enemy lines, thus making it ideal for its role in assisting ground troops. It can also loiter for extended periods of time, allowing it to remain on station and available for support when needed. The A-10 can also be serviced, rearmed and maintained with rudimentary equipment, another trait that is well suited for forward bases. Moreover, it has superb survivability, able to withstand direct hits from armour-piercing and high-explosive ordnance up to 23mm. Apparently, the aircraft is designed to be able to fly on one engine, with half of one tail, one elevator, and half a wing missing. The cockpit area and parts of the flight control systems are protected with 540 kilograms of titanium armour, and the front windscreen and canopy are resistant to small arms fire. The engine placement is also ideal for minimising foreign object damage, such as what could be encountered on primitive runways and forward bases. It also allows them to be left running while the ground crew work on resupplying and rearming the aircraft. The fuel tanks are self-sealing in the event of damage, and the engines have a very small infrared signature. Given the A-10's low operating altitude, it does represent an ideal target for man-portable air defence missiles, otherwise called man-pads, as well as SAM sites and enemy aircraft, hence it is equipped with chaff and flare countermeasures. Although I've spoken at length about its signature cannon armament, the A-10 is also capable of carrying up to 16,000 pounds of other ordnance, including the AGM-65 Maverick air-to-surface missile, a renowned weapon that can be guided by TV or infrared. It is ideal against tanks, ships, air defences, ground transport and fuel storage facilities. The A-10 can also carry rocket pods, cluster bombs, GPS and laser-guided munitions such as the Paveway and JDAM bombs, as well as the AGM-154 joint standoff weapon. Oftentimes, A-10s are equipped with the ALQ-131 ECM pod, a countermeasure device, and 2 AIM-9 Sidewinder missiles for self-defense. Over the years, the A-10 has seen more than its fair share of upgrades and modifications to improve its effectiveness. In 1978, it received the Pavepenny Laser Receiver Pod, which detects reflected laser radiation from a designator. This has, however, now been phased out in favour of more advanced targeting pod technology. An inertial navigation system was introduced in 1980, and later the LACED system, Low Altitude Safety and Targeting Enhancement, that provided computerised weapon aiming, an autopilot system and a ground collision warning system. In 1999, the A-10 was upgraded with multifunction displays and GPS navigation, and the LACED was improved with an integrated flight and fire control computer. The entire fleet, now designated A-10C, carries the precision engagement modifications that were slowly brought in around 2005. These include electronic countermeasures, upgraded cockpit displays, the ability to deliver smart bombs, a moving map, hands-on throttle and stick or HOTAS system, digital stores management, lightning and sniper advanced targeting pods. These pods enable the more precise targeting of laser-guided bombs and standoff weapons in a variety of conditions. The first serious deployment of the A-10 was in the Gulf War of 1991, where it destroyed more than 900 Iraqi tanks, a phenomenal number, 2,000 other military vehicles, and 1,200 artillery pieces. This conflict also saw the first air-to-air kill of the A-10, Captain Robert Swain, downing an Iraqi helicopter over Kuwait with the Avenger cannon. 4 A-10s were shot down by SAMs, another 2 suffered battle damage but made it back to base. The aircraft had a mission-capable rate of 95.7% and flew 8,100 sorties. Its performance in the theatre led the Air Force to abandon its development of a close air support version of the F-16 Fighting Falcon. In the Balkans during the mid-1990s, A-10s attacked Bosnian Serb artillery positions under the auspices of NATO during Operation Deliberate Force, and would again be deployed to the region as part of Operation Allied Force in Kosovo. One particular mission of note involved the rescue of a downed F-117 Nighthawk pilot, for which A-10s provided support to combat search and rescue helicopters. In Operation Iraqi Freedom in 2003, Colonel Kim Nicole Reed Campbell was famously decorated for piloting her damaged A-10 back to base after sustaining heavy anti-aircraft artillery damage over Baghdad. She lost hydraulics but successfully activated manual reversion mode and flew the hour journey back to base in her crippled aircraft. For this action, she received the Distinguished Service Cross. After landing, it was revealed that her A-10 suffered damage to one engine, the airframe was riddled with bullet holes, and large parts of the stabilizer and hydraulic controls were missing. There is no better illustration of the A-10's survivability and resilience, in my opinion. The aircraft also saw service in the 2001 invasion of Afghanistan, as well as the coalition action in Libya in 2011, and the ongoing Operation Inherent Resolve against Islamic State. At present, there are 367 A-10s in service with the US Air Force, Air Combat Command, the US Air Force Reserve and the Air National Guard. Over its entire history, it's flown exclusively with the US and hasn't been exported in any way. There are, however, numerous examples on display in museums around the world. The future of the A-10 is uncertain though. Although the US Air Force expected the A-10 to serve until 2028, pending its replacement by the cutting-edge but extremely expensive F-35 Lightning II, proponents of the A-10 cite its durability and firepower as superior attributes over the F-35 for ground attack applications. Its detractors, though, emphasise the cost saving from cutting the entire fleet, around $3.7 billion, in favour of more modern multi-mission aircraft. Nevertheless, in January 2016, the US Air Force put an indefinite freeze on plans to retire the A-10, likely due to the lack of a ready replacement. This fact reinforces the effectiveness of the aircraft within its specific ground attack role, as well as its value to the US arsenal. There are plans to potentially extend the life of the aircraft to 2040, which would make it one of the longest serving aircraft in the US Air Force. Whether it does or doesn't, the A-10 will always be remembered as a fearsome and highly effective ground support aircraft and one of the most recognisable in service anywhere in the world. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to like and subscribe to stay up to date with my latest videos, and I'll see you in the next episode of Scorch the Sky.